If I can finish now. Oh, yes. Why don't you meow when a woman does that? That's a good idea. That's really, it is just extraordinary. The blokes are allowed to yell, but if a woman stands her ground, you want to make that kind of comment. It's sort of schoolyard politics, mate.
We just want to ask the Secretary of the Treasury about Treasury.
I'm talking...
Order now.
It's just extraordinary.
Yeah. Minister,
no, not sensitive, mate.
A very good budget for pensioners, I would put it to you.
But I'm not. I'm putting Senator Hanson's ask. I'm just trying to clarify.
Well, I know that you always like channeling Senator Hanson.
Actually, that's a little offensive.
Well,
she thinks people like me were swamping Australia. Actually,
you're speaking
we don't
her
channel
words.
Pauline Hanson. You're the ones who cosy up to her and let her write tax policy and government policy in order to get your vote. Well, don't tell me I channel Pauline Hanson. I find that personally offensive. I can tell you what happened to me and my family and people like us when she stood up in the Parliament, possibly before you were here, saying Australia was in danger of being swamped by Asians. In the aftermath of horrific acts of hatred, whilst people were grieving, whilst a nation was grieving, a senator in this place made an extraordinarily offensive and divisive statement. He blamed the horrific act of terror, of murder, not on the extremist right-wing terrorist, but on the victims of his evil acts. This senator sought to further fan the flames of division. How pathetic. How shameful. A shameful and pathetic attempt by a bloke who's never been elected to get attention by exploiting diversity as a fault line for political advantage. Have you no shame? This is a man who spoke of hiding in the grass so he was not taken away in his first speech, and he extends the hand of reconciliation and you turn your back. It costs nothing for those opposite to denounce the racist interjections from their own side, but they won't. And they didn't today. It costs them nothing to listen to First Australians, but they don't. Mr Morrison revealed his character during the bushfires when he left Australians in the lurch and nicked off to Hawaii, and now he's done it again. He spent all last year telling premiers they shouldn't lock down. He said not locking down was the gold standard. And when Melbourne had a Delta outbreak in June, he said he wanted to see the restrictions lifted as quickly as possible. That's what he said. And then when this current Delta outbreak started in Bondi, he said, I commend the Premier of New South Wales for the fact she hasn't gone into lockdown. And since he urged no lockdown for the Bondi cluster, it spread, causing lockdowns across Sydney, Victoria and South Australia, and today the Hunter goes into 7 days lockdown. The cost in lives is tragic, the cost of jobs and the economy is reckless, but now, like the dodgy contractor, he wants you to forget what he told you before. Now, Mr Morrison says, the only way to deal with outbreaks is lockdowns. Isn't that amazing? Now he says he supports lockdowns strongly. Well, he's changed his tune, but, he doesn't want you to notice that he has. This bloke's story changes every week.